Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Ian. So what's the next build? My usual little pre-build mystery box. Let's find out. The next build is this because of a couple of things. First of all, I really need to build something bigger. I've been battling small things for a while now, so I thought, right, okay, I want to build something bigger. I don't want to build something as big as I could possibly build. I need to build up to that. But the other thing is, I must be the only modeler out there in YouTube land that hasn't built a Spitfire. So this is the next build. It's the Revell 132nd Spitfire Mark 9C. 154 parts, wingspan's a foot and the fuselage slightly longer. So that's what we're building. The side of the box just gives you a nice little bit of art. The back of the box is quite nice, actually. Gives you some nice little images, some pictures of the sprues, and a colour call out in Revell colours. So there we are. The sides are just pretty much bookends, as usual with Revell. I gather they're end opening. So I shall just open this, he said. There we go. Toughest sellotape ever. So let's see what we've got in here. Okay. So we've got a sprue with clear parts in. I would have liked that to have been a bit bigger bag. There's a couple of loose parts in there, but hopefully nothing too scratched. Some small screws, several some small sprues, several of them, including looks like propeller blades, and again some off the sprue there by the feel of it. We'll come back to the instructions. There are certainly plenty of sprues, aren't there? And this is obviously the fuselage and the wings. So yes, it's pretty big. We'll see how we do. We'll come back to some of those in a minute. Let's have a look at what we've got in here, and we'll just quickly have a look in here. We've got some safety advice in here, and these are the decals. They look okay. It's always difficult to tell until I get them under a magnifying glass, but they look as if they're in registry. Everything looks fine. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how many options we get. It doesn't say on the outside of the kit just what options we get. But here it is, the Supermarine Spitfire Mark 9C. I think the C is to do with the wings, something to do with the shape of the wings. Let me know if I'm wrong there. So we'll get the usual things about how to approach some stuff, the kinds of tools we need, and here the legend to tell us what needs to be done. And we have the colour call out here with some names at least. We'll see where we go on that. And some sprue call outs and the rest of the sprue call outs by the looks of it. Nice colour instructions as usual, starting with the cockpit tub I'm not going to go into detail on this. Plenty of other modelers will have done so, I'm sure. But you can see that the instructions look pretty well detailed, and you've got lots of stuff about when to put a decal and colour call-outs, etc. as you go through. Some areas that need to be drilled, and just generally moving forward, building up, putting the scoop on at the bottom there, the ailerons, that's one of those words I can never say. So in general, the instructions look fairly straightforward. And separate blades, interesting. For me, you know, I've never built an aircraft of this size, so it's going to be interesting to see what the difference is. And just looking at this, it looks like we have two colour schemes. This is Royal Canadian Air Force, based in England in May 1944. And on the back, we have 601 Squadron Royal Air Force, in Fano, Italy, November 1944. This version has the clipped wings. I'm probably leaning towards this, I would think. It's quite nice, isn't it? I like the colour on the spinner and on the band at the back there. So that's what I will probably go for. The other scheme is nice, but rather bland, in my opinion. So yeah, I'll probably go for this particular scheme. So let's just put this to one side. And have a quick look at a couple of sprues. Just have a quick look at the clear sprues. Just a little bit cautious here. As you can see, I've got one or two parts that are just not on the sprue anymore. So we've got those are the wingtips for the clipped wing. A little bit of flash on this. I'm just looking as carefully as I can on this. I'm not keen on where the sprue attachments are, and in fact where it's broken off there is a little bit of damage here. That's going to be a pain, but not to worry, that's what it is. So I'm just going to build this straight out of the box. And for what I paid for it, I'm happy enough. It will look fine once it's all finished and weathered. I think I paid £18 for this kit. And it's new in the box, although it does look to have been bounced around a bit. But there we are. Nothing looks overly scratched anyway. Just those little bits of flash to deal with. So that's that. Let's have a look at this little bag here. See what the plastic looks like. And actually, the plastic looks quite nice. We've actually got sprue letters, which is great. I don't think I built a Revell kit ever. Even as a child, I don't think I did. But these are all labelled, which is nice. And not really seeing any flash on these sprues. These look fine, some very delicate parts, and they look absolutely fine. So just bring that up a little so you can see the plastic looks okay. Doesn't look bad at all. I'll just put these away and we'll have a look at the fuselage and the wings, which is the main thing, isn't it? And I took the tape off the other one, didn't I? And I didn't take it off that one. So only myself to blame for that. So let's put these away carefully. The wheels have the centres built in, which is a shame. I do like it when they're separate, but we'll see how we go. I could no doubt get better wheels and so on and so forth, but I want to build this as much out of the box as I can. And I'll probably not even bother with masks. So let's have a look. This is the bottom of the wing, of course, and 1/32, 2014 is the date on the plastic, so it's 10 years old, the kit. And the detail looks quite nice and actually quite to scale. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's some really nice detail on there that's going to come up nicely once it's weathered. And it does look quite sharp, and as I say, the panel lines are quite to scale. Quite often panel lines are so much bigger than they need to be, aren't they? It doesn't look bad, just a little bit of flash here, something and nothing. And again, very nice detail along there. I'm quite impressed with that. I like the way they've done the wings here. The seam to the body means that obviously it'll be much, well, one hopes it'll be much easier to deal with that wing root. And the other side of the fuselage, same again. The plastic looks quite nice, it really does. Just have a quick look at one of the wing tops. It's a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of sinking off these here, but I don't think it's going to bother it too much. Very, very fine rivet detail in here. They're recess rivets, which has pluses and minuses, of course, and yet another sink line here and here. So yeah, the wing tops aren't great, but they'll be fine. I'm not going to complain at the price of the kit, and yeah, you got the same thing on the other wing, so it's just the way the plastic is. With them having moulded these in, that's one of the disadvantages, I guess, of moulding in things like the wheel bays, rather than having them as a separate part. It creates a stronger part, but then you do get sinkage. So a shame, but there we are. We'll just have to see how that turns out. So all in all, it looks like, you know, a really nice little kit, and it's certainly bigger than anything I've built so far. So it's going to be interesting to do. So that's the next kit, and as soon as I've got the Model T complete, that's where I'll be starting with. Wish me luck. Well, I think this is going to be an interesting build. It's much bigger than anything I've done so far. The size of the joints, the amount of glue I'm going to need, all those kinds of things are going to be interesting for me to learn as I go on. We'll see what the fit's like. Hopefully it's as good as the kit looks, but it's going to be fun whatever, isn't it? Shame about the bits of damage on the clear parts. I'm not going to worry about it too much. By the time it's weathered down, there are ways and means of hiding little bits and pieces. I'm sure I'll find something along the way, but it should build a nice plane, and my first Spitfire, so I can join the ranks. Thanks to all the new subscribers, and thank you very much for all of you who have commented on my videos so far. It's truly appreciated. If you've enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider doing so. It really helps the channel. So until the next time, thanks very much for watching. Cheerio.